Okay, just stand there for
I'll
a while.
go to Disneyland and
Stand there for a
Disneyland.
while and wait till while I make the portal. Okay, I'm just gonna leave the camera here. Okay, it's ready. Okay, now go, 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 go. So yeah, hello everyone. My name is MJ Vilches of Doodle Notes, and welcome to part 2 of our Spark Portal in Blender tutorial. So for this part, I'm going to be sharing how I composited the Spark Portal effect into our live footage here. So yeah, I used Blender versions 2.79b and 2.78 for this one, the alpha version. But of course, the method will work on future versions of Blender. I've actually just used 2.78 on a little portion on this effect. So yeah, difficulty is probably intermediate, maybe a bit advanced. I don't know. I think it's intermediate. Yeah, if you have knowledge in Blender, if you know how to go around Blender and stuff, then this effect would be pretty easy for you. So yeah, if you're a beginner though, I suggest you're gonna have to watch some beginner tutorials first to kind of get a solid grasp of the whole thing. But yeah, this is for intermediate Blender users. So yeah, Spark Portal effect in Blender, and right now we are going to start compositing our Spark Portal into our live footage. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, just go and do so later. I'm also going to be publishing this live stream as an actual video on my channel, so if you missed this, and yeah, and also even though no one's watching this, a lot of people will still be able to watch it later on. But yeah, if you have some questions and you want them to be answered on a video, you're gonna have to watch this live. So yeah, I think that's all that needs to be said to open this. Now let's go to Blender, and I'm just gonna set things up here so you guys can see the buttons that I press. There we go. So yeah, so I'm using, like I said, I'm using Blender 2.79b, and yeah, the first thing that you need to do, of course, if you're planning to composite an effect, any effect in your footage, is to, of course, track your footage. I actually have a separate tutorial for that. I'll be putting that in the link in the description below, or you can search my channel for it. Yeah, the first thing you need to do, of course, is to track the footage if your footage involves moving the camera. If not, you just have to match the camera in Blender to the camera on your live footage. I'm actually done camera tracking the footage, so we're just gonna open that project right here, and as you can see, it's a pretty solid track. So yeah, like I said, there's going to be a separate tutorial. There's actually a separate tutorial for this in my channel. Better check that out if you don't know how to track yet. But yeah, the first thing that needs to be done is to track your footage. So as you can see here, the footage is tracked. It's now ready. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go Control Shift S, and I'm gonna save I'm gonna save this into a different folder so that things are nicely organized. So we're gonna name this Spark Portal _ composite. So what I did is I used the blend file where I tracked the camera so that I don't have to move stuff around. Just have to duplicate the file and then do everything else here. So I also added this actually to just see if the camera's tracked well, and I think it's pretty good. So I'm just gonna delete this. We don't need that one. And we're going to transfer everything. I'm going to delete the light because we already have a light on our Spark Portal effect, which we'll append later here. I'm just gonna go and move stuff around first so everything is nice and orderly. I'm also gonna delete the floor. And yeah, I think this is ready. We're gonna go back to our Spark Portal effect. Well, I think this is it. So yeah, by the way, you can download this blend file from the previous stream. The link is available there. So I'm just gonna check here. I'm gonna free all bigs. I'm gonna make sure that everything's grouped together. So I'm just gonna select everything. Control G. I'm gonna press T to bring out the T panel. Expand it so I can rename the group. Spark Portal. So yeah. Now we can go back to our Spark Portal Composite Blender project, and then append our Spark Portal. So it's right here, Group Spark Portal. Append that, and now we have our Spark Portal right here. So if you just preview that, you're gonna see that it's right there, with all the settings that we have set prior to this, the settings that we've set on a previous live stream. So yeah, the next thing I'm gonna do is to move each element of this effect into their respective layers. I'm gonna move the floor on the layer here. I'm not gonna do anything. The floor collide stays on the first layer. Also the Spark Portal mesh. Now I'm going to find the Spark Portal frame and move it to the second layer. I'm just gonna Z. I'll move Portal Mask to the third layer. So the way I'm doing this is I'm putting the Spark Portal effect on the first layer. The second layer is where the portal frame is, and the third layer is where the portal mask is. I'm just putting the camera on in this layer right here, and the floor, which will catch the light here. We also have to find the light. I think it's right here. Are we selecting it? Lamp. Yes. We're gonna move it to where the floored mesh is. So yeah. Okay, things are. So yeah, all of them are now in their respective layers, or the layers where I assign them. You can choose any layer you want, but if you want to follow this, you can go for it. Next thing we're gonna do is we're going to scale our portal so that it's the right scale, as in just like in our footage. So I'm just gonna Z there. And by the way, if you don't know how to put your footage, to preview your footage on the camera here, just have to go down here, check background image, set it to a movie, and choose your movie clip. If you've tracked your camera in Blender, this will be automatically set. So yeah, like I said, if you want to know how to track the camera in Blender, I have a tutorial for that, and I'll be linking it in the description below after the stream. So yeah, now we're gonna scale our portal so that it's big, because it's really small right now. Z, I think this size will do. Okay, I'm going to have to just gonna move this down. Okay, I think that's about the right size there. Probably have to rotate the camera a bit. Shift S, cursor to center. And I'm just gonna rotate it like this probably. Maybe not. Let's see what we can do here. I'm just gonna rotate the portal instead of the camera. Best not to touch the camera. So yeah, just gonna move it. And then just positioning the portal on our scene here. So yeah, let's preview it quickly. Remove AV sync so we can see the portal simulating properly. Okay. Hopefully things are just checking settings over the stream. Okay, I think it's good. So yeah, I'm just trying to. Oops. Oh, that's stupid. And because we animated the scaling of our portal on the previous video, it didn't save the scaling here. So we're gonna have to delete the keyframes for scaling for now. And just reanimate that later. So our portal retains the size. Okay. This is not real time. It's not playing in real time because I turned off AV sync here. Just moving it so that I'm just gonna position it here in our viewport. It's probably not gonna save the rotation, so it'd be pointless to rotate it actually. And just location and scaling here. Let's just edit that. Okay. And then I'm just gonna preview down our. Okay. Just gonna position it. Looks like we really have to rotate the camera. Like so. So that the portal is more visible here. So yeah, I think it's positioned well now. So yeah, next step, if you're happy with how your portal is positioned in your scene here, we're going to change some settings in our particle systems. Just make sure that's selected and go to particle settings, particle system settings. First, I'm going to adjust the end of the simulation or the emission. I'm gonna want for this scene, I wanted to emit particles until the video ends. So I'm also gonna do that for Spark 2 366. And then I'm also going to adjust the rotation, making sure that the portal keeps rotating until the video is done. So I'm just gonna move. So the way I'm rotating the portal is that I'm making sure that it rotates negative 3,600 on a y-axis, so that it rotates counterclockwise in a span of 200 frames. So that's how I do it and that's how I do it in mine. You can actually, adjust that however you want. Just experiment on these settings for the rotation. I'm just gonna add another 3,600 and that should make our portal rotate until the end of the video. So yeah, there we go. What I'm doing here is I'm just adjusting the animations of the Spark portal so that it fits our footage here. So I'm going to reanimate the scaling again. Scaling, and then S0, and then I to add a scaling. And now, if we look at this, it should. And what happened here? That shouldn't be happening. What's happening here? Why would it go back down? Okay. Yeah, that should be good now. Just gonna bring it back, adjust it again. Since we didn't put keyframes on the location, we can actually edit the location of the Spark portal. Just have to make sure that it's right under my mark here, there, and a very obvious mark for where the portal is going to be, so that my little sister would, you know, jump over that. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna turn off Spark Portal for a while so I can just see the circle. So yeah. I'm also gonna move it a bit to the x-axis. And move it a bit more to y. So I'm gonna check if it shouldn't reach the floor that much. Actually, we can move that further down. I'm just gonna move the MT to a different layer so we can see it. So I'm just gonna move it a bit more, a bit nearer to the floor, not too near. Yeah, maybe that works. Okay, G, Y, X. Just moving it. Just making sure here that the Spark portal is positioned well. But I won't take too much time here because we need to be doing compositing soon. So yeah, just making sure that my little sister here is not stepping on the portal, but rather on the other side of it. So yeah, I think things are going well here. I'm just gonna preview again. It's looking good. This is not in real time because I didn't turn on AV Sync. Okay. Yeah, I think it's looking good. Last thing that we need to fix for the animation of the Spark portal is when we're entering it. So I'm just gonna turn off Spark portal again so things are clearer. And then I'm going to animate the location now. So the moment my little sister is very close to the portal, after she jumps and steps, I'm gonna add a keyframe there for the location. And then I'm gonna head to the very end. And I'm just gonna move the portal very close to the camera, so that very close but not exceeding the camera. It should still be on the range of the view of the camera. It shouldn't get out. So yeah, that rotation will not be safe. It's just gonna do this. Location. So now if we view our footage, we are going inside the portal. And because we have the portal mask, it will just mask everything out. Since we have our portal mask circle here. Just mask everything out at this point. So yeah. Okay. There we go. So yeah, if you're satisfied with how the portal is positioned and animated, you can now bake. So we're gonna do that. Head over to cache. We're gonna bake all dynamics. Okay. And there we go. Now we can preview this with AV Sync turned on, without the particles going crazy. So yeah, there we go. There we go, and enter the portal, and it's looking good. Okay, that's looking good. Okay, next thing we need to do is to separate each element on render layers. So if you've tracked the camera, I'm gonna head over to the compositing layout now. So yeah, if you've tracked the camera, you're actually gonna get this. Blender will automatically set up a compositing setup here, node setup here. Blender will automatically do that if you track the camera in Blender and you've generated the scene or the camera, all this in Blender. It will automatically create this. We actually don't need this, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna remove everything, and then I'm gonna head over to our render layer settings here and rename foreground to Spark Portal, just like how I did it on a previous live stream. Spark Portal. I select the first layer. I'm gonna set this as the portal frame, and then select the second layer, and so on and so forth. If you watched if you've watched the previous live stream, you're gonna know the purpose of this. Yeah, portal mask, and next would be portal destination. Okay, I forgot to set the mask here. Mask should be at third layer, frame second, spark portal at first layer, and portal out in the portal destination, which I'll be talking about more later. I'm just gonna set it to the fourth layer here. Let's select the fourth layer, and that last one would be our light layer, which will be this. So yeah, things are set up here. Before compositing, actually, we're going to head over and add our portal destination, which is, in my case here, would be Disneyland. So we're gonna go back to default, and I'm just gonna select the fourth layer here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna append the kind of like a projection map kind of thing that I did to create the Disneyland bridge in Blender. So we're just gonna head over to my previous project here, and I'm just gonna append I forgot which one was it. Was it Disney BG 2? So yeah, this is actually just how the Disney looks in a enable material here, so you'll see. So yeah, this is what I did. I just did some projection mapping. I used an image and projected it into this model here. Modeled some parts so that if you go in here, things. Actually, this is the wrong one, I think. We're gonna have to delete that. Select the other one, and this is the right one. This is where it is a more cleaner version, or not. Wait a minute, what's happening here? Okay, I'm just gonna Control Z and bring this back. I'm actually just gonna change the picture to one that I've already cleaned up, which is it should be this one. Okay, I actually edited a lot, so we're gonna have to append the Disney background from our project file, which is right here. Or cancel that. Shift F1. Go back here. Spark Portal 2. I'm gonna use the one in the Spark Portal 2 object. Find where object, where is it? Ground, floor display. What is ground? Okay, I'm really sorry about this. I'm looking for our Disney background because I did a lot of this should be it. So yeah, this should be the cleaner version. Okay, now we're good. Okay, I'm just gonna Alt S this, or Alt S is probably a bad idea. I'm just gonna scale down this Disney background, position it so that it matches our. It's in a good position for our footage here. So I'm gonna transfer the background image to the front so we can see what's happening here. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the portal mask so I can see. Just moving it downwards a bit. Probably have to scale it up. Or scale it up more. G, Y. Just gonna move our background here so that we can have our portal destination positioned well. Okay, so I think this is the right size. Okay. So yeah, as you can see, it's looking good. So yeah, for the portal destination, whichever portal destination you want, all you have to do is just move it to a layer of your desire. For me, I put it on layer 4. Just put it there, and edit it so that it fits well to our footage, and that's just about it. That's how I created this Spark portal destination. Another thing that I want to add here, I'm gonna put it on layer 5, is the shadow of it. You're gonna want the shadow to be you're gonna want shadow here. So what I did there is I actually did a tedious one. Just gonna select it, Yumi shadow. So yeah, this is what I did for the shadow. Just animated it. Okay, that's not good. And okay, tell you what, for now, I'm not gonna include a shadow because that would take time. Because what I did here is actually frame by frame, I animated this so that it matches on the footage. That's what I did. What I did is I rendered the mask or the roto of my little sister here. I rendered that as something like this, black on a white background, so that I can apply it as a shadow. So that's what I did to apply shadow on the final video. And for this tutorial, I'm not going to include this. Just know that this is how I did it. I rendered the mask of my little sister into a black against a white background and used that to add the shadow. So yeah, it would really take time to animate it here. But maybe what we can do, maybe I'm gonna try to add it anyway. I'm gonna use an empty, since I can't really touch this anymore because it's already animated, and trying to move it or reanimating it would just take a lot of time. We don't have that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna parent the shadow to an empty, Control P object, and I'm gonna use the empty to position it on our scene here. So I'm just gonna scale it down. Let's see, hopefully this will put it on the right position. Let's see. S X Y G Y. Okay, hopefully this. Okay. Yeah, I think. Okay, just a rough. So you can, if you're experienced Blender user or experienced visual effects something, or you have any experience in visual effects, you're kind of going to get what I'm trying to do here. So yeah, this is what I did to give my little sister a shadow, so it match. I can then composite this later to our footage, blur it, and it would just look really nice. If you've watched the video, you'll see. So yeah, this is how I did the shadow. Okay, I think it's good. I'm just gonna stick with that. I'm gonna add another render layer for the shadow. Shadow, select layer 5. Okay, we're good. Now I'm gonna go and turn on everything except for that. Layer 5. Okay. So now we have our portal destination. I've placed a shadow. It's kind of a tedious task to do that, but I've already explained how I did it. Now we're gonna go back to our compositing layout. gonna press F12 to render. F12. And because we don't have a render output node, we can't do that. So I'm gonna have to do that real quick here. I just added a composite output node, and I'm gonna add just one. Just gonna add the Spark portal here and then render. So this should be quick. And nothing will show, of course, because now we have to composite everything. So I'm just gonna close that. So Spark portal. Well, actually, we're going to need to. The first thing that we're gonna want to do is put our footage here. So to do that, just gonna open. I'm gonna add a movie clip node, and we're gonna look for our footage. I placed it right about raw footage, PNG, and this should be it. Now we're gonna do that in our. I'm gonna connect that to our composite node, and it's gonna show. Actually, I'm going to have to render again because I forgot to set the dimensions. For my footage, I used HDTV 1080p. Better set that up first before rendering, so everything goes nicely in our compositing here. So I'm just gonna wait for that. And I'm going to add, to make sure that our footage, I'm just going to add scale, render size. So this makes sure that our footage is the same size as our render size, which is actually not a problem for me because the footage is really 1080p. But if I want to do some test renders and want to render only 50%, then the footage would also resize. So that's the purpose of this. So now that we've added our footage, we're gonna want to add our Spark portal. So to do that, I'm going to use an add node. So I'm gonna go with color, mix, and we're gonna add our Spark portal. And it should just look like this here. Not gonna look that great, but we're still not done, so you just wait. Okay. Next thing we need to do is to set up our Spark portal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another node, another add node or mix node, and then place another layer of our Spark portal on top of the other. And to get a glowing effect, I'm going to add a blur node. I'll make that about 200. There we go. Okay, well, we're gonna set that up more later. So yeah, next I'm going to add the render layer for the portal frame. That should have rendered a white circle. And I'm gonna add another mix node right about here, so we can add the Spark portal layer and a portal frame layer together. So now you see it's right here. Now I'm gonna add another mix node to give the portal frame a glowing effect. Just gonna add that, and I'm gonna add a blur node here first. Set it to about 50. No, don't check extend bounds. Hey, thanks, Genova Isaac Q. And welcome to the stream, by the way. So yes, I'm gonna shift the blur node here. And set the inner one to 10. And we have our portal frame. So yeah, we're gonna organize things when the nodes are still not that confusing. So to do that, like I did in the previous video, I'm gonna use a frame. So I'm gonna select everything, then the frame, Control P, and there we go. We're gonna name that portal frame. And now for our Spark portal, I'm gonna add another frame here. Select everything. And then Spark portal. Hopefully the stream is still going well. And hopefully no one outside is watching Netflix, because that would not be good. I shouldn't have added this here. Let's Control Z. Control Z. Let's Control Z. Control Z. Shouldn't have added this add here because that's supposed to control the influence of both our Spark portal elements here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna Control Z because I don't want to have to delete that. Probably deleting would be faster though. Fine. I'm just gonna delete this and create that add node again. So yeah, there we go. Now we have the Spark portal frame. Spark portal. So yeah, this settings control our Spark portal. This settings control our portal frame. And this, I'm gonna rename this to should I rename this? Wait. I'm gonna rename this to since this controls the factor of our Spark portal and our portal frame. So if I would put it to 0, it should only show our Spark portal. Let's set it to 1. What this basically do is hide this thing. So if I set it to 0, it hides our portal frame, and if I set it to 1, it brings back our portal frame. We don't actually need to rename that, or maybe we should just rename it portal frame opacity, since it kind of influences how much of the portal frame we want on the footage. Let's set that to 1 for now. So yeah, there we go. Also going to move the portal. No, not there, man. I'll move the portal, our live footage, just about there. And this is this add node controls the opacity of the entirety of our Spark portal. So Spark portal opacity. So if I turn that 0, our Spark portal will be gone. And bring that back, Spark portal will be back. So I'm also gonna add color to that so that things we can easily find them later. So I'm gonna set that to a yellow color, and that should be good. Everything that is related to the Spark portal should be a shade of yellow, just so we can easily find them later. So yeah, we now have our Spark portal here. The next thing we want to do is add our destination. So you have to do that. We're going to input render layers, and I'm going to add this the portal destination, and that should show the Disney bridge. I haven't really gone to Disney, so I probably messed up some sizes. I probably messed up the scale of it or something. So yeah, we're gonna add our portal destination on top of our live footage. We're gonna do that using mix node, and if we apply that, you should only see the Disneyland background on top, just below our Spark portal. Which is not supposed to be happening. That's not supposed to be the case, because our portal destination should be on top of everything. So we're gonna just move it there, add a mix node on top of everything, put it there, and we should only see our portal destination. Now, to mask out stuff that we don't need from our portal destination, just to put it inside our portal, we are going to add another render layer, input render layer, and we are going to add our portal mask and set it to factor, which I messed up again. Control Z, add it to factor. Hey there, Aldine, welcome to the stream. Hopefully you stay or something. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, just ask, and I'm gonna try my best to answer them. To those who didn't watch the stream live, you can ask your questions in the comments below. So yeah, now we've masked out our portal destination, and we are going to blur that out so that it would blend in seamlessly. I'm gonna use probably just 10. 10 be nice? No. Let's try 30. Maybe more. 50. Yeah, 50 should be nice. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's our portal destination. And for yeah, I'm just gonna leave it here. Portal destination opacity. I'm gonna rename this portal destination opacity and set the color to blue, light blue. And I'm just gonna put this to a frame. Shift A, layout. No, not reroute. No, not that. X that. Frame. There we go. I'm kind of lagging here. Control P to add our portal destination. So I'm just gonna rename that to a portal destination. And set the color to blue, so things are nice and organized. So we have our portal destination right here, our Spark portal right here. Here's the controller for its opacity, and next is we're gonna, so yeah, pretty much this is done if you don't have an actor on the scene. But if you do and you want the actor to go inside the portal, what you're gonna want to do is to mask out the character first, to rotoscope. And I did mine using two ways. One would be using Blender's masking. So I'm just gonna show that one for a bit here. I'm gonna open the project where I rotoed mask, a web mask. Here we go. So yeah, I did the masking in both ways. First is I used Blender's masking. I actually didn't. This is actually I canceled. So yeah, I canceled the masking for the legs there because I used Blender 2.8 to mask the limbs. But for most of my little sisters, for most of the things, I actually mask using Blender's built-in masking feature. So yeah, I mask in two ways. First, masking it out here. I mask in layers. First the body, the hair, part of the hair, and the head, and my little sister's cat headband. And then for the second way, excuse me, and the other way that I mask my actor here, which is my little sis, I actually used Blender 2.8. So I'm just gonna open that real quick. Beta just came out, by the way. You guys better check it out. It's awesome. So yeah, what I did is I masked using 2.8. And what I did is I actually animated it using the 2D animation feature. Hopefully this doesn't crash. So yeah, this is what I did. I mask. This is actually an experiment that I did. I mask out my little sister's limbs here. And the best thing about using the 2D animation feature to mask is I was able to mask out the fingers. So yeah, this is actually kind of an experiment to rotoscoping, which actually yielded some really cool result and really good results. Masking out the limbs there, because look at that, I was even able to mask out the finger without having to create, you know, some kind of like what you do when masking, where you when you mask out stuff. Here you just draw over the parts you want to mask out, and there we go. Actually looks really awesome. So what I did is I actually rendered this after masking out in Blender 2.8. I rendered this something like this, with the ink being white and the background being black, and I'm gonna use this as a mask on our Spark Portal video. So I'm just gonna close this now. I'm gonna go back here and go back to our project, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to append the mask. First, I'm going to append the mask from the mask project. So I'm just gonna shift F1. I'm gonna look for that project, AVEV mask, and I'm gonna append everything here except for the legs, because I masked the limbs using Blender 2.8. Again, I'm gonna get mask. Now it's appended. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put all the mask here. Input mask, and I'm gonna select the mask. Body, I'm gonna Shift D that. Select hair, Shift D. Select head, Shift D. Select headband. And for the final one, which are the limbs, I'm going to import the image sequence that I rendered from Blender 2.8. I'm gonna go back to my folder here and mask, and this should be it. So yeah, like I said, the masking that I did for the limbs is rendered as a PNG sequence. The ink was set as a white material and rendered over a black material. So I'm just gonna open that up in our compositor here, and now we have all the mask elements that we need to add them all together. I'm just gonna turn on backdrop. I'm gonna view this. So if you can view this by pressing Ctrl Shift View, and now the backdrop, you can actually see that our mask actually looks like this. It's the same thing as so the mask in Blender looks like just like, you know, setting it as a white thing or whatever it's called. But yeah, now we have all our mask here. It's time to add them all together. So I'm gonna use mix node for that. Set to add. I'm just gonna add this. I'm gonna add body and the head, and if we preview that, by the way, it should look, Control Shift, that should add the hair. We won't really see it here because the hair only comes out on a certain frame. Yeah, we're gonna move on. I'm gonna just shift DR add here, and then add the next mask. Now our head is added. Shift D again, add. Now our headband, and that should add our cat headband there. And I'm gonna Shift D again, and I'm gonna add the final touch, which are the limbs, which shouldn't. Okay, start frame. Things should be good though. Probably have to render. Again. Okay. And there we go. Now they're matched together. And as you can see, there it is, the mask. So we're gonna use this information that we have now for the mask. Actually, first I'm going to put it on a frame together so that everything is nice. And so yeah, I gotta finish this before my little sis wakes up. Just see the open door, and we are going to have a bit of a noisy sister on our side. But anyways, we are going to color, rename that our mask for the character. Set the color to probably green, or my little sister's favorite color, pink. And we are going to add our footage, just this one. I'm going to use a mix node or alpha over, probably. I'm going to use alpha over for this one. Check convert pre-mult, and then I'm gonna use. I'm just gonna turn off backdrop here, because you should be able to see our composite. And I'm going to add our footage on top of that. And then I'm going to use the mask that we have here as a factor. So yeah, behold the awesomeness of Blender. And now we have our sister mask out there. Actually, to avoid this from happening, this really ugly thing that's happening here, we have to check clamp to everything in the mask. So yeah, that should fix our little problem here. There we go. And to add a final touch, which is feathering our mask, we can use a blur node. I'm just gonna blur it probably about 5. Or 2. And this, let's just name this feather. And there we go. Now our character is entering our destination. And now I think we have all the elements added here together. Our node setup is nice and clean, unlike how my node setup on the project was so confusing. So yeah, this is actor opacity. Actor being, you know, my little sister. So actually, you don't need to. Actually, just actually, this doesn't really. You can't really control anything from here. So I'm just gonna call that actor. So yeah, now we have that. Our portal's looking good. What we want to do next is to match the color of everything. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna find our portal destination right here, and I'm going to add an RGB curves node on top there, and I'm gonna use this RGB curves node to match the color of stuff. And to do that, we're gonna select the red channel just to show our red channel here, and in the RGB curves also select the red channel. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna want the contrast of our live footage match the contrast of our portal destination. So we're just gonna increase the contrast of that a bit. So I'm not gonna try to make this like a perfect color thing so that we can move on to the next step. I'm just gonna try to roughly match things here. And yeah, I think that's matched already. Yeah, now we'll move on to the green channel. Select green here, and then increase the contrast for this one too. That should be good. And we have our little sister trying to open the door. Okay, wait. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this quickly because we are being called outside already. Hopefully it'd be understandable and not do that again. Anyways, we're gonna check here if it's looking good. It's a bit more red. It's too red, I think. Let's kind of scale that down. And also increase the brightness here, probably. Also, so yeah, I think that's looking good. I'm not gonna try to do it perfectly, because we're pressed for time here. So, yeah, that's looking good. Now what we want to do is to add the shadow, and we're going to add that on our portal destination. So it should be on top of our portal destination and below our actor. So right about here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the render layer for our shadow. It's right there. Good. Now I'm going to add color mix. I'm going to set it to multiply and then add our shadow right about there. And that should mess things up, because we're going to have to probably do this. We have to enable the include alpha, and there we go. And to also to not make it go out of our portal destination there, we're going to use our portal mask as a factor. And there we go. That should look good. And we are going to actually blur that so that it blends in with the blurriness of the shadow on our portal destination here, matching blurriness, because the shadow on our portal destination aren't exactly, it's not that sharp. So we're having some issues here with the mask, or the box showing up there. You can actually fix that by adding a color mix and put this on top. Again, put that on top, and that should take care of the problem. We have to turn this off. Turn it on here. And there we go. We can actually also use alpha over here, but let's just keep using the mix. And we're gonna move to a frame. I'm gonna move to a frame that's more visible. Have to bring back our background image here. Add image, movie. Actually, make that image open. Okay, we're just gonna add our footage here real quick. Raw footage, PNG. Open that. Front. We're just gonna pick a frame here. That would make the shadow really visible. Right there. That should be enough. Wait, back a bit. Maybe this one. F12. Okay, we're getting really close to our end here. I actually need to finish it before 1 hour, and we're almost an hour here. So yeah, there's our shadow, and it's now compositing, and there. What we want is to match the shadow's color. So we can do that by using RGB curves. So yeah, we're just gonna try and match. It's kind of bluish, I think. Bluish and greenish. And bit light. I'm gonna do it roughly because we're pressed for time here. But you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing, right? And yeah, I'm just gonna be really rough here. Okay, just a bit more. And then what else can we change? Probably reduce the green a bit, or probably add a bit of red there. Hey Rakesh Kerbit, thanks for coming back. And again, the stream is almost done when you arrived. And by the way, if you want to know my hey, good morning. If you want to know my my gear, there should be a link in the description below to where you can find it, or you can check my channel. I actually shared a video sharing all the stuff I use. So yeah, if you want to know my setup, just look for the My Ultimate Gear 2018 video. It should be there. So yeah, anyways, I'm just gonna put this shadow again on a frame so that things are nice and organized. Control P, name that shadow. I'm just gonna color that as a shadow color, which is black. And just rename this multiply node to shadow so that we know that it controls the shadow. So yeah. So I'm not gonna be too perfect for this. Hey Rakesh, thanks for that. I'm not really that active in Instagram, but thanks for doing that. Anyways. So yeah. I think we're done. We're done setting the most of our composite here up. I'm gonna go back here. I'm just gonna pick a good frame where we can see my little sis and the portal together. I'm gonna F12 there. Tutorial on Blender 2.8 beta will be coming eventually from this channel. But right now, since it's in beta, I'm not really doing a lot of stuff in there right now. But in the future, definitely, there will be tutorials on Blender 2.8 beta. I just have to find my way. I just have to like explore it first and be a master of it first. So yeah, anyways, the last thing we're gonna do here is that my little sister is already knocking the door. Wait lang yun. Okay, I'm just gonna try and I'm gonna do some stuff here. No, 200 is great. And yeah, the last thing that we want to do here is go to our Spark portal node, find our Spark portal opacity node, and I'm going to excuse me. I'm going to add an RGB curves node. So the last thing that we want to do is to change the color of our portal here. And what I want to do is I'm going to change to I'm gonna go to the scene settings here. I'm gonna change the color management to filmic, just so we have a nice going. You can also use curve to set stuff up, make stuff darker. Do some quick color grading here, just so we see our portal. So yeah, now you're gonna rename this node Spark portal color, because this will change the color. Yeah, Rakesh, like I said, Rakesh Kerbit, my laptop configuration, I actually made a video sharing that, and I think there's a link in the description below. It's in my channel. It's called My Ultimate Gear. I shared everything there, all the stuff that I use in making my videos. So if you want to know, if you're interested, you can just look there. I actually did not memorize the specifications of my laptop, so I can't tell it now. But yeah, the video that I made will tell everything that you want to know about my setup. Anyways, I'm just gonna adjust our Spark portal here finish things up. And I might have forgotten one little thing, which is our light. We have to add that real quick. We can do that by going to our footage here, input, render layers. I'm gonna pick light. This is the last render layer that we have to add on our footage here. So yeah, I'm just gonna use color, mix, add image there. Probably do that. Hopefully things go well. And it doesn't really add much. Just adds our the light being projected on our background there. That's the only purpose of that. Very important to add some realism too. So yeah, don't forget to do that as well. So yeah, moving on, continuing the changing of our Spark Portal color to change it to an orangey shade. We're just gonna add more red and green. Probably gonna have to do this. And our Spark Portal, probably this. So all I'm trying to do is just trying to make the portal orange. Right now it's yellow. Let's bring down blue a bit. I'm just adjusting red and green here. Probably bring down green so that we get a more orange one instead of yellow. And I think this is good. We need to add more intensity to our okay, I'm going to reduce the opacity of the portal frame, and then I'm going to add more intensity to our portal. Also, to reduce the bloom effect, I'm going to add a math node. I'm going to add a math node, set it to multiply right after a blur node here. This will reduce the effect of the bloom there. Probably 0.15 will do. There we go. You can just if you're trying to do this, you can tweak the settings. Do this, just experiment on the settings. No, the Blender Fundamentals tutorial is made by the Blender Foundation. I mean, it's made by another creator who has a YouTube channel of his own, but it was published on the official Blender channel. I'm putting it in the description below because I think it's the best beginner tutorial. If you're a beginner in Blender, I think it's best to go to the official site and check the Blender Fundamentals tutorial there, because there's a lot of beginner tutorials on Blender already. That's why I'm not making more. I'm not making my own, because you can actually find a better one on YouTube. And the best one, I think, would be that Blender Fundamentals course on the official Blender channel. So yeah, I did not make the Blender Fundamentals. That's officially from Blender. Anyways, many people are coming, but we're about to be ending. But doesn't matter, because I'm going to be uploading this live stream later as an actual video for the channel. You can just rewatch it later. But yeah, at this moment, we're actually done. I mean, the portal is here. To add more, you can actually tweak more of the settings here in the Spark Portal. What I'm going to do to kind of increase the intensity of our Spark Portal here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add another mixed tone right here, add that. I'm going to add this. And that should increase the intensity. Also add a blur. Oh no. Messing things up. I'm gonna add a blur node for that. So this would just increase the intensity of our Spark portal. Because right now it's too weak. That should do the trick. Or not. Probably just 5. No, not just 5. And we are going to set the factor just a little bit, making it subtle. And yeah, that should be it. So yeah, like I said, if you think the portal particles are a bit weak or not that much, you can just increase the particles using the particle system settings right here. 50,000, 100,000. It's actually pretty a lot, and you can actually double that, make it 200,000. I think that's what I did on my project. So yeah, if you feel like the particles aren't enough, just add more if your computer can handle it. And yeah, this is it. That's all. I'm probably gonna make this a blend file available for download, but it will not include the footage. The blend file will only be available so that you can kind of have a closer look of the node setup here, how I set up everything to composite the Spark portal into the live footage. But yeah, that's it. This is basically it. This is how I did the portal to Disneyland video. This is how I created a portal to Disneyland. So yeah, I think, is there more to say? I don't think there's more to say. Is everything going well? Yeah, this is how I did it. This is how I made a portal to Disneyland. This is how I made a video that you see right here. Now this video, this is how I made a Spark portal in Blender. So yeah, that's all. Like I said, I'll be uploading this. I'll be publishing this video as an actual video later on in my channel. But yeah, that's it. This is it. This is how I made a portal to Disneyland. So yeah, thanks so much for the ones who watch this here, and Rakesh, thanks for that. Yeah, I did that. That's pretty awesome, I guess. But yeah, thanks, man. Anyways, that is all. Yeah, that is all. Thank you so much for watching. My name is MJ Vilches of Doodle Notes, and I'm gonna try to bring forth awesomeness to the world. That's all. Over.